Welcome back everyone, Tyler with Leggari Products, and today I'm going to show you how to repair cracks in your concrete surface like a professional. We're going to be using our dual cartridge crack repair system. First thing we want to do, obviously I got a crack here. This is the crack I'm going to be repairing for you. I already started to V-grind, crack chase it with the V-grinder. So from here kind of over, we already V-grinded it. And what that does is it'll clean, right? This crack's really dirty. It's going to clean it up a lot. It's going to get any loose chunks of aggregate or concrete out in it. What we use is it's called a V-grinder. It's a diamond V-grinder. Same thing as the cup wheels, but it's shaped in a V. And that'll kind of open up the crack out. So what we usually do, typically put that on an angle grinder, have a vacuum kind of following behind it, sucking up all the dust, ear protection, eye goggles, that sort of thing. So I'll throw those on. I'll show you how simple and fast it is to kind of clean out this crack, and then we'll go into how to fill it. So once we vacuum it clean, I like to just run a broom through it. And that's gonna knock out any of the dust that's maybe on the edge there that didn't get vacuumed out. So this is basically ready to fill with silica sand. When the concrete moves, we're not gonna get as much flex as if we were just bonded on the two sides and not the bottom. So the silica sand works to create an opening where it doesn't bond on the bottom, and it also fills in the crack so the crack repair material doesn't float or just run down into the crack. So I'm gonna just take silica sand, start running this through here. And then we're just gonna take the broom and we're just gonna brush it off because we don't want the sand all the way to the surface. So we're ready for the crack filler to be applied. Some of the stuff you're gonna need is a dual cartridge caulking gun. You can get these online. Some construction stores will have these as well. And then obviously the crack repair. And then we're gonna be wearing a mask, safety goggles just to be safe, and then a pair of pliers just to pop the top off. And I always like to start it out by shooting it on some cardboard just to make sure it's all mixed into the tip here, right? I don't wanna shoot it out when it's not mixed all the way. So we're gonna pull this out, and then we wanna shake this up. Then we're gonna unscrew the top, pop this guy off. I'm gonna take our tip, put our tip on, put this screw cap back on, make sure we get it good and tight. And then I always like to have the more fluid part, right? You can tell which one's more fluid. I like to have that on the smaller piece of the dual cartridge caulking gun. So you can see right there, so I just started. We have a bunch of the hardener all by itself. So if I went out to just shoot this down, we're gonna have unmixed crack repair that's going down. It's gonna be sticky, it's not gonna get hard. So that's why I like to shoot it out. Now it's gonna turn gray. So now we're good to go. Now, since we're gonna be grinding this, you can also shave it if you hit it at the right time, but I'm not worried about really making a mess. We just wanna get this filled up, and we wanna overfill it. So I'll usually go a little bit and then I'll come back. It's gonna soak into that sand a little. Come back, make sure we're getting all the way to the top. always overfill. So when we grind it, it's smooth to the floor. Okay, guys, we ran through one tube. Now I'm gonna do another one, do the same thing. Okay, so the crack repairs, it's obviously hard now. A few things I'll point out is, obviously we built the barrier to minimize the runoff, but you can see how it's lower than the top of the concrete. That's what we wanna not do, right? We wanna overfill it like we did out here, so when I grind this smooth, it's perfectly flush with the concrete, and we're gonna be grinding it with the angle grinder, a cup wheel, a diamond cup wheel, and then a dust shroud hooked up to a vacuum. That's gonna minimize the dust, and I'm gonna be wearing a mask, ear protection, and eye goggles. Okay, so we got it grinded, and you'll see I don't have any like dig in spots. It's nice and feathered out, and obviously you're not gonna be running into concrete that's this pitted out and jacked up all the time. Very seldom you will. And so that's why we have some of these kind of leaked out in these low channels, even right here, right? It's just really pitted out. I pointed this spot out here where we didn't overfill, it was low. So you can see where we grinded the concrete, but this wasn't filled all the way. So now, right, it's still low. So if we epoxied over this, you would see this in your epoxy coat, especially if you're doing metallics. They'll settle in these low spots and they'll create like a ghost line. So we always want to overfill. That way we're getting grinder marks all through it as we're hitting the concrete, and we have a nice smooth finish. And then when we epoxy over this, you'll have a seamless floor.